Hello, we are here on Meet the Author. Hello, we are here on Meet the Author, and we have Bianca Dale, and she just wrote a new book called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And Bianca, tell us about your story.
Well, there was this one boy named Charlie, and he lived in an old cabin, and all they had was board soup. And one day, Mr. Wonka set out a golden ticket, and he had 5 golden tickets. And the lucky kids would take a tour in Wonka's factory. And one day, the next week, somebody found a golden ticket, and then his name was Augustus. And the next week, he found somebody found a new golden ticket, and that was the second one, and then somebody else found the one, and then Charlie was the only one that didn't find one. And then one day somebody made up a ticket, and it wasn't the right one, and then Charlie felt sad that night. Then the next day he found a golden ticket by a chocolate bar, and then he got a tour, and then Wonka gave the factory to Charlie and his family.
Thank you, Bianca. How long did it take you to write this book?
A week and 3 days.
What other books did you write?
Santa and the Elves. Can't remember.
Does this story tell us a lesson or anything?
Nope, no lesson.
What was the first book you wrote?
Santa and the Elves.
Okay, thank you for joining us on Meet the Author, and we hope you'll join us next time.
Hi, my name's Zach Backus, and I'm here with Marissa Elder, and we're here to meet the author. What's the title? What's the title of your book?
Cam Jensen and the Fudge Mist.
Tell us about your book.
Well, Cam Jensen saw this lady with a raincoat and sunglasses on, and she in a garbage bag, and she wanted to know what was in that garbage bag, so she followed her and she threw the garbage bag into the garbage, and Cam Jensen she dug into the garbage to see what was in there, and nothing was in there, just some old milk cartons and pop cartons and stuff. She saw the lady go into this yellow house, and then they saw some old, like a week ago, newspapers, and then they went to the back, and they saw food from the back porch, and they went to the next door neighbors, and they asked if they were on vacation or something, and they said no. And so Cam Jansen looked to see if anybody was in there, was gonna come out or anything, and nobody did, and so they wanted to check on Cam Jansen if anybody came out, and he said no. But right after that, they saw a person come out, and then the lady with the raincoat came out, and she started walking, and so then they started running after her, and then they called the police, and then they called 3 policemen, and only one stopped, and then they saw the lady run into a store, and they went into the store and they couldn't find her, and then they saw the raincoat and the sunglasses. And then Cam remembered her wearing red sneakers. And then, so they were looking for red sneakers, and the guy said, the guy caught her, and she was helping this guy rob a bank, and this.
What were the characters?
Cam and Eric.
How many days did it take you to write this book?
3 months.
Okay. What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
I like Mary Kate and Ashley because I like to find out the mysteries that they were gonna do.
Okay, that's all for today. Bye.
Good afternoon and welcome to Meet the Author. Today's guest we have Dan Mario, and he just wrote one of his new books. So Dan, tell me about how'd you got the idea?
I got an idea from basketball and some sports.
Very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
My book,
So tell us a little about your book.
in 1980s and in the 1990, Michael Jordan when he said Bulls never be the same.
Okay. How long did it take you to write this book?
Like 7 hours.
Okay. What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Sport.
Okay. How many books have you wrote?
2.
2 books? What age did you start writing?
Like 9.
Is that when you became interested in writing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all the time we have for now.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. My name is Ishbel, and I have Kyle Brown here. And Kyle Brown just wrote a new book. What is the title of your new book?
Arthur and the Popularity Test.
Who inspired you to write this book?
My son.
Tell us about the story.
Well, it's about these 4 kids named Francine, Arthur, Sue Ellen, and Fern, and they're doing musical instruments at the Science Center. And everybody's supposed to bring something. So Francine's bringing all the things that's going to be in the project. So Francine asks her sister if she can borrow her backpack for tomorrow. And her sister says yes. And so they switch backpacks. Everything's in Francine's sister's backpack, and in her sister's backpack is just her stuff. And Francine forgot that she switched backpacks with her sister, so she brought it to the Science Center, and they all brought everything, and Arthur brought the most stuff, and Arthur brought all the things he was supposed to bring, Sue Ellen brought all the things she was supposed to bring, and Fern brought all the things she was supposed to bring. But Francine only brought a magazine. It was for teenagers, and it was called the Popularity Test. And so they were looking through the pages, and on page 13 was the test. So they decided to take the test. So Brain, Buster, and Arthur, the three boys, started teasing them about this test. And they started laughing, and first question was, what would your friends be if you were a sandwich? A, chips, B, pop, C, the plate, or D, the potato chip, the salt. And Fern picked soda, and Sue Ellen picked potato chips. And when they were at the last question, the fourth question, the magazine blew away and landed in the mud. So they couldn't do the test anymore. But after school, they got to play outside for a little while. And Sue Ellen and Fern stayed longer and wanted to know how they did in the test. And they wanted to know how they did in the test. So they were trying to finish the test, and Sue Ellen and Fern both got pretty high scores. Fern got a 92 and Sue Ellen got 112. So Fern with a 92 was too quiet, and Sue Ellen with 112 was too I know everything. And that's it.
Oh, okay. How long will it take you to write this book?
3 months.
Okay, thanks for watching the show. Bye. Welcome today. Today we're having Robert Teratelli as our guest. So tell us, Robert, how did you get inspired to write this book?
Well, one time I was writing in this book where you had to find letters, certain letters, you had to find Christmas, and there were all these different words, and I had to find 12 of them, and I wanted to write about a book where you had to find different certain things, but not letters, just pictures. And I didn't know how to draw that good, so I went to this school where you learn how to draw, and I stayed there for 2 years. And when I got out of the school, I was thinking about writing my own book where you had to find different, certain kinds of people and other kinds of things.
Okay, can you tell us the storyline?
Well, yeah. I made a book where you had to find objects, you had to find people, you had to find. And my first book was Find Frosty, and in every picture you had to find Frosty. You had to find Frosty as he has other people and objects. He told you to find other people. I drew pictures of people who you had to find, and he talked in the picture and said, "See if you could find me too." That was Frosty that was talking, and I wrote it.
Okay. Did you write any other books?
Yeah, I wrote Rudolph. It's a foggy night, and I wrote Santa as he sings this Christmas carol.
Was it hard writing this book?
Yes, because I had to like squish all the people. I had to like squish all the people inside to hide the other people and other objects, and had to like hide some people under like things and houses. Like if I drew people in the houses, I would like make that you could see the inside of the house instead of the outside of the house.
Okay. What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
My favorite book was like hidden books that you had to find people and objects. I liked that because it was fun, and I love to write, and I love to find like secret messages and letters.
Okay. Thanks for coming here today. Tune in next time on Meet the Author.
Welcome to Meet the Author. Today our guest is Victoria Anderson. Well, Victoria, what inspired you writing this book?
When I was 7 years old, I lived by a pond with ducks and swans, and I saw this. I thought it was a duckling, but it wasn't. It was actually a swan, so I called it Ugly Duckling. And so when I grew up, I started remembering about that time, which I was really interested in writing. So I wrote a book about that.
What is about your story?
There's this ugly duckling. There's this mother duck that is hatching eggs. Soon the eggs hatch, and then there's one egg that didn't hatch, and she's like, oh, how much longer will this take? And so a few weeks later, the egg hatched, and then she called, not exactly, but she had her friends come over, and then they started calling it ugly. Oh, how ugly that duckling is. And so she thought that it was misplaced with another egg. And so she wanted to go swimming to see if that was a duck of hers, a duckling of hers. And so they go swimming, and the duckling swims perfectly. And then later, they still make fun of him. And then when he grows up, when he's sorta old, he's like the age 8. He goes and he goes somewhere. He runs away, and he sees this bunch of beautiful swans. Then he goes back home. Then when he grows up, he turns into a beautiful swan.
Who are the characters?
The main characters are the ugly duckling and the mother duck.
Oh, okay. What favorite book did you like when you were in 3rd grade?
Harry Potter. A Harry Potter series.
Okay. How much did this take you?
It took me like 3 hours at the most.
Okay, well, thank you for coming to Meet the Author. Bye.
Hi, and welcome to Meet the Author. Today we have Joey Glass. Tell me, Joey, what is the title of your book?
The Fly on the Ceiling.
Okay. Who are the main characters?
Renee and his his next door neighbor.
Where does the story take place?
In France.
Tell us about your story.
There was a man who lived in France, and he was a philosopher, and his house was very messy, and then he couldn't go by his door because all his stuff was by the door, and then he thought he had a problem, so he wanted to go have a walk to clean up his house, and then he went to his favorite bakery, and then he after that he walked and thought of the things, and then he went back home to rest, and then then he saw a fly on the ceiling, and it was on the ceiling, and he thought of an idea to put lines where the fly was, because he was a philosopher. Because then after that he wanted to clean up his house with his next door neighbor, because his next door neighbor was a painter, so he wanted to put lines on the floor so he can put his stuff on the square lines that he made, and then he would have a clean house.
Okay, tell us what a philosopher is.
It's a person that's good, smart at things.
Oh. All right, that's all the time we have for today. See you next time on Meet the Author.
You didn't do any questions.
Hello. We're here at Meet the Author with Beverly Clary. So tell me, what's the title of your book?
My title of the book is Ramona and Her Mother.
So where does this take place?
It takes place at Ramona's house.
Can you tell me a little about the story?
It's about where Ramona's mother says to Ramona's sister, Beezus, I couldn't live without you. And Ramona wants her mother to say it to her. And so through the whole story, she tries to be good and tries to make her mother say, I couldn't live without you. And at the end, she never said it, so she decided to run away. And her mother started to help her pack. And she thought, my mother really doesn't love me because she's helping me pack. And when Ramona went to pick it up, she said, she couldn't pick it up because it was too heavy. And her mother said, I made it too heavy for you, couldn't run away because I could not live without you. And Ramona was very happy because she was waiting for her mother to say that all along.
So what are the main characters?
Ramona, Ramona's mother, and Ramona's sister, Beezus.
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, when I was little, I had a little sister, and her name was Ramona, and she was very funny, and I decided when I grew up I wanted to be an author and write about it.
Okay, how long did it take you to write this book?
About 3 months.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Probably The Missing Doll.
That's all the time we have today. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author, and here we have Christine Green. She wrote a new book called? What's your title of your book?
Purple Climbing Dude.
And what inspired you to write this book?
Well, when I was little, I had trouble climbing ropes, so my story is about climbing, some people climbing ropes in gyms, so I just wanted to write about that.
And tell us about your story.
Well, this is when a guy named Matthew, he had trouble climbing ropes. He did in gym. He didn't want to climb ropes, so he made he just like said to the gym teacher, my mom said I can't climb ropes or I'll get blisters. So the gym teacher said that no one could climb ropes if he can't climb ropes. So everybody got mad at him, and then they started playing like a baby game, and so everybody got mad at him. And at school, at lunch, no one sat by him because he didn't go climbing ropes. So.
How long did it take you to write this book?
About a couple of weeks.
Where are the characters from?
Around my neighborhood, I just got them.
That's all the time we have now, folks. Bye.
Here we are to meet the author of Jordan book. So, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I like sports, and I was really good at them, but I wasn't good enough, so I couldn't get put on any team, so I decided that I wanted to write stories about sports.
So, how long did it take you to write this book?
4 months.
So, could you tell us about your story?
Well, it's a boy named Steve, and he's a he's a really good hockey player, and one night he gets kidnapped walking back from one of his games. And he gets kidnapped by a guy in a limo who offers to give him a ride home, but really they take him to the airport and fly him off to Africa. And there they have they give him a good life. They give him like his own room. He gets to do whatever he wants, and then all he has to do is just play hockey for their team. And after that, he gets homesick and he wants to go back home, but they won't let him. And so they won the game, and then it's a traveling hockey team, and one of the games is in the Philippines. And in the Philippines, they win the game, and then they go to this, and he tries to run away in the Philippines by escaping by the motel's balcony, but he gets caught. But before he gets caught, he asks the guy on the street if he could borrow money so he could call his mom and dad. And right when the operator is getting to his mom and dad, the rich kid has his bodyguards go after him, and so they catch him and they put him. Every hotel has a basement, and every hotel that they go to since then they put him in the basement, and so it's not like he didn't get as good as a life as the other kids did. And then pretty soon they trusted him, and then they went to this town named Bluesburg, and that's where his uncle lives, and he hopes that his uncle will come to the game, and he doesn't. And so in the middle of the game, he decides that he's going to try to run away again, and the kid has his bodyguards on the other side, but he sees an exit door that no one's there, so he sneaks out there. He runs, he throws off his skates, and then he runs around town, and then one of the bodyguards starts chasing him, and then finally gets to this house, and that's where his uncle lives, and that's where an FBI person's there with his mom, his dad, and his uncle, and the bodyguard grabs him, but the FBI won't let him take him away, and so all the kids that millionaire kid kidnapped got to go back home, and that's how it ended.
So, what was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
I like the Matt Christopher books.
Okay, so how many stories have you wrote?
22 stories.
Are they any people that are like one of your named off one of your relatives?
No, most of the names that I make up are the names that I'd like to be named.
Okay, thank you to meet the author, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, we're here at Meet the Author with Chris Will, and he just wrote a new book. What's the title of this book?
Mr. Potter meet Tabby.
Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Mr. Potter, he was lonely, and he had English muffins in the morning, and in the afternoon he was lonely. He was lonely because he had no one to pour his tea with, and at night he was lonely to tell his great stories at night.
Okay. Is there any people in that story based on anybody you knew?
No.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Really long chapter books.
How long did it take you to write this book?
About a week.
That's all we have for today, folks. So tune in next time for Meet the Author. Bye.
Well, they really did me in.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. We have Andrew Dahl here. Andrew, what's the title of your book?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What inspired you to write this book?
Nothing really. I just made it up, but I did like fantasy books.
And do you like chocolate? Could you tell us a little about your book?
Well, see, there's this poor kid named Charlie, and they have really thin meals, and so his grandfather tells him stories every night, and one night he tells him about Mr. Willy Wonka and about his amazing creations. And then Mr. Wonka, he sends out golden tickets. So he sends out 5 golden tickets. So whoever finds them gets to see all his secrets in his factory. And so there's 4 spoiled kids get the tickets, and there's 1 more left. And Charlie finds that one because he found a dollar bill in the sewer, and so he used that money for 2 Wonka bars, and he found one. And in the factory, all the other spoiled kids disappeared, and Charlie was the only one left, so Mr. Wonka gave the factory to him.
Oh, okay. What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
Books about food.
Were any of the characters based on people you know?
Yes. There was this poor kid down the block I knew, and I would play with him a lot, and he takes place of Charlie.
Oh, okay. Are you, did the book come out first or did the movie come out?
The book.
Okay. Are you, mad that they made a movie after it?
Because they changed lots of it.
Oh, okay. That's all the time we have today for Meet the Author. See you next time. Bye. Welcome back to Meet the Author. Right now we're with Dalton Roy. Dalton, what's the title of your book?
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, it's about Harry Potter, and he's a wizard, and he has to stay at his aunt and uncle's.
and they're like completely against wizards, and so they forbid him to do magic. And his aunt has a sister, and the sister comes over, and the sister also hates Harry, and like she like always watches him and everything. And Harry, with his magical powers, accidentally inflates his aunt's sister. And then he runs away. He has to go to this like wizarding place, and he has to stay there until the new school year in Hogwarts, a wizarding school. And it's his 3rd year. He has to wait until it starts, and then he like looks at this racing broom called the Firebolt. It's the most advanced racing broom there is, and he like keeps on like looking at it every day. Finally, his 2 best friends, Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, come, and they end up at Diagon Alley, the Wizarding State place, and because they're buying stuff. And like later the school year begins, and the evil Cyrus Black, which was known to betray Harry's parents to another really evil wizard called the Lord Voldemort. And he betrayed him, and his parents died because of that. And that's what like happened the whole year. And he fought Cyrus Black, and it ended up here. No one was killed, and no one else was killed, and that's mostly it.
Well, it sounds like an interesting book. Okay. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I don't know. I was just on a train, and I didn't have anything to do, so I just started thinking of things, and a wizard came in my mind, and I started thinking of stuff, but I didn't have a pen, so when I got to my house, I just wrote frantically for like about 3 hours or something.
Okay. How long did it take you to write this book?
I don't know, about 3 months maybe.
Okay. What are the main characters in your book?
Cyrus Black, the teachers, Professor Lupin, Professor Snape, Professor Dumbledore, Hagrid, the gamekeeper, Harry, Ron and Hermione, and Hedwig, the man carrying out.
Okay. The characters that you wrote, do you know anybody like them? Were they named after anybody?
No.
Okay. That's all we have for today, folks. See you next time. Meet the author.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. We're here with Alex Hurwitz. Now, what's the latest book you have written?
The Hot and Cold Summer.
What was it about?
It was about these 2 boys. They were really close. Their name was Derek and Rory. And their next door neighbor, Mrs. Golding, told them that her granddaughter was gonna come, and they were gonna have to play with her. And so they were trying ways to not be with her because they didn't want to play with girls. And then Derek and Bolivia is the girl that was coming, got along, and Rory and Bolivia didn't get along so well. So then Derek, during the summer, he had to go to camp, and Bolivia and Rory were stuck together, and they didn't get along, but then in the end they got along, and Derek came back, and Bolivia had to go, so they got her these t-shirts that they all wore so they could match, and when she left, that was the end.
What inspired you to write this book? Two boys down my street, their names are Tim and Josh.
Was there any names based on like your friends?
I didn't want to use Tim and Josh because I wanted to use like names that for Rory I wanted to use a name that was kind of different, and for Derek I just thought it up myself.
Is there any other books you've written?
Yeah, I wrote The Class Clown, and there's other books. It's Elisa and her baby sister, and there's a lot of Elisa books out that I wrote.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
I liked a lot of Martin Luther King books.
Was there any favorite about Martin Luther King?
Yeah, I think there was one young Martin Luther King.
Well, thank you for watching our show. Bye.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Author, and today we have Tim Dady. So, what inspired you to write this book, Tim?
Well, my son, he was a gargoyle for Halloween, and I just got the idea to write a book about gargoyles.
Okay, so what is the title of your book?
Gargoyles don't drive school buses.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, well, there's these 4 kids, Howie, Eddie, Melody, and Liza. And in school, Mrs. Jeepers gives them a report to do with rocks. And after school, they take the bus home, and they have a new bus driver. And his name was Mr. Stone, and he looked like a gargoyle. And Melody shook hands with him, and she told her friends that his hands were really cold and hard. And when they got off the bus, they went to the library, and when Eddie counted the gargoyles on top of the library, there were 5. But when they went that day, there were 6, and they were kind of freaked out. And when they came back out the library, there were only 5. And Eddie, he had a plan, and after he told the plan, they went home, and Melody, Liza, and Howie were doing the report on rocks, and while Eddie was just outside playing soccer. And at 7 o'clock, they went back to the library to do their plan, and they went into the library, and they came to this door that said, "Do not enter," and the door headed to the roof of the library. And Melody and Liza and Howie, they just got books for rocks, and they dropped them all, and the librarian came to help, but they said he didn't need to because they made the mess, but he still helped anyway. And while they were cleaning up the books, Eddie, he went he opened the door and went into the roof, or climbed up the stairs and onto the roof. And after the other 3 kids were done, they went up there too, and they went by this gargoyle, and it looked just like their bus driver. And the bus driver had sunglasses, and the gargoyle had sunglasses in his lap, and Eddie took them, and then he slapped the statue. And the next day, the
they saw the bus driver, and he had a bruise where Eddie slapped him. And after school, when they went back to the library, these people came to tear down the library, but the 4 kids didn't want to, so they made all these signs and posters that says like help our library, and then they were just like yelling out like help our library. And so one of the people that were going to tear down the library called the mayor, and the mayor came and spoke to them, but they still didn't stop. And then Mr. Stone, the bus driver, he said, why don't you just add on to it? And everyone said that was a great idea. And so they added on to the building, and when they were done, it was nice and shiny, and then the 4 kids became good friends with Mr. Stone.
Okay, interesting. How long did it take you to write this book?
2.5 months.
Okay, what was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
I liked reading about like scary stuff.
Okay, that's all the time we have for today. See you next time. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. Here we have Yvette Lopez. And tell us, Yvette, what's the title of your book? Frog and Toad. What inspired you to write it? Well, one day I found these bunch of toads and frogs in my backyard. Tell us about your story. One day it was spring, and Frog went to Toad's house, and he went to Toad's house to wake him up. Then he went home, and then he's like calling Toad, Toad, but nobody answered. So he opened the door because the door was open, and he saw in the calendar, and it was still November. So then he said, oh look, it's May. So then Toad was surprised. So then they went to the pond at the end. Okay, how did you get the idea? Because of the toads and frogs. Okay, what was your favorite book in 3rd grade? My favorite book was about animals. What kind of animals? Like animals like the ones that tell you where they live and how their body are inside. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Bye. Hi, welcome to Meet the Author, and here today we have Katie Ryland. So tell us, Katie, what's the title of your book? Henry and Mudge and the Sneaky Crackers. Could you tell us a little about your story? Sure. There was this boy named Henry with a big dog Mudge watching their favorite TV show about spies. And Henry told Mudge, would you like to be a spy? And then Mudge was wagging his tail, and then Henry looked to see how much money he had. And he had enough for a spy kit, and there was a telescope, a magnifying glass, a secret code, and a hat and sunglasses. And Henry was going to give Mudge the magnifying glass, but he just licked it and made it really drooly. So then Henry said, maybe you should have just the hat. So then Henry said, don't look like you're about to spy on people. And they went through the bushes, and Mudge went through the trash can to see if anybody was in the trash can, to see if someone was going to be able to spy on. And one day by the trash cans there was a secret code, and they figured out what it said. But then the next day they put a different code, and it said, meet me
by the trash cans 5 o'clock Monday. And so this kid came with a big dog, and they met each other and they were big friends, and he started eating crackers.
What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
When the whole class slept over.
Oh. How long did it take you to write this story?
Probably a month and a half.
Oh, well, that's all the time we have today at Meet the Author. Tune in next time.
Toodles.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. Here's Zach Silverstein. What's your title of your book?
The Giving Tree.
Tell us a little about your story.
Well, there's about this boy that had a tree that he was going to use all the parts for it, like using the branches to swing, and when he gets older, he uses half of the tree to make wood for his house. And when he gets a little older and older, he sits on the last part of the tree, and he sits on, and that was the end.
How long did you write this book?
It probably took me like 4 days.
Was it easy writing this book?
Yeah.
It was? What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Scary stories.
That's all the time we have for today. Bye. Here comes Jeremy Wagner. So Jeremy, what's the title of your book?
U2 Strikes Back.
Can you tell us? How did you get this idea?
Well, I got it from my 2 cats when I was like 3 years old because they were white.
How long did you take this?
Like 2.5 months.
What's the title of what's your favorite book at 3rd grade?
Huckleberry Finn.
Can you tell us about your story?
Well, it starts out, they make this Pokemon called Mewtwo, and there's DNA from a Pokemon called Mew, and the Pokemon Mewtwo tries to destroy this one Pokemon called Mew, and he doesn't get to do it. And they want them to stop fighting, but they won't, and finally at the end, they stop fighting.
How long did you take How long become interested in Pokemon?
Well, I got interested in Pokemon right when the cards came out.
So that's all from today. See ya next time.
Hi, I'm here with Tyler Thayer. So Tyler, what's the title of your book? The Puppy Who Wanted a Boy. How long did it take you to write this?
About 2 months.
Can you tell us a little about your story?
Yeah, there's a puppy. He asked his mom for a boy for Christmas. So his mom took him out to the store to see if he could get a boy for Christmas. But there was no boy, so there was a boy riding the bike. So the dog went to that boy and said, "Could I have you for Christmas?" And the boy said no. So he was walking some more down the street. Then he found a kid with were driving a car, so he asked that boy, and he said no, so he found a guy walking down the street. He asked that one, and they said no. Then they came to a house and said, boys for dogs. So when he was going into the house, there was a boy lonely, so the dog asked him, and the boy took him. So then a lady came out and said, come in. Then she said, what you got? And then they got a dog. So then there was a whole bunch of people coming, so they said, could we keep this dog, and could we give him supper, and could we make him a bed to stay? And then she said yes about all of them. Then she said, then tomorrow we'll go find a mother dog.
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I got a dog, and I like to think of him a lot, so I like to do books about dogs.
Like, did you get the dog for Christmas?
No, when I got my mom bought a dog when I wasn't born yet.
Okay. What inspired you to write this? Oh. What are the main characters?
The dog and the boy.
Okay, that's all the time we have for today, folks. Tune in next week at Meet the Author.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. We got Michelle Borden here. What's the title of your book?
Albie the Lifeguard.
Could you tell us a little about your book?
Well, it's about this boy named Albie, and he was good at swimming, but he didn't have the confidence to sign up for the swimming team. And all his friends signed up, and he wanted to be a lifeguard. And so, while his friends were at the meeting, he would go in his backyard and pretend to be a lifeguard. He would give lifeguard directions, and when it was time for the races at the meeting, they kept on losing, and Albie wanted to help out, and he was still too shy, and he remembered that he still wanted to be a lifeguard, and the better he gets at swimming, the better lifeguard he would. And so he finally had the confidence to do that, and so he did.
Okay, how long did it take you to write this book?
About 3 months.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
I liked a lot, but my favorite was There's a Boy in a Girl's Bathroom.
What gave you the idea?
Well, my son, he was good at baseball, but he was too shy to sign up.
Okay, that's all the time we had today. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. Here we have Ish White. So Ish, what's the title of your book?
Too Many Pumpkins.
What inspired you to write this book?
I would say my family.
Tell us about your story.
It's about this girl. When she was little, her family was poor, so she always ate pumpkins for breakfast, dinner, lunch. So she said, when I would be an adult, I would never eat pumpkins again. So when she was an adult, one fall, she was breaking leaves in her backyard, and along comes a truck with pumpkins, and it's going so fast, so some pumpkins splattered on her lawn,
and then she had no idea what to do with it, so she just dug it under her under the ground. So then after a couple of weeks she came up, and then she saw those weeds growing, and then and she didn't want them to grow, so she just pulled out the weeds, and then she went back inside, and then after a couple of weeks they were growing more weeds, and then she had an idea. She said, I will never use the back door again, so she never used the back door, and she forgot so much that one day she went through the back door and she saw all these pumpkins, so she had an idea, so she made like jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkin pie, and she put it outside so some people could come and they could take like a pumpkin pie and they can go home.
Nice. How long did it take you to write this book?
About 2 months.
Was it easy?
Sort of, but sort of difficult.
That's all the time we have today. Tune in next time. Bye.
Hi, and welcome to Meet the Author. Today's guest is AJ Murphy. So AJ, tell us what inspired you to write this book.
Well, I was very interested in dolphins, so I decided to write a mystery about them.
What's the title of your book?
The mystery of the dolphin detective.
Okay, can you tell us a little about your book?
There was these three cousins that set up a detective club, and their parents want them to have an educational vacation. So they go off to swim with the dolphins, but someone's feeding the dolphins because the person that is feeding the dolphins is lonely, and she's taking a wagon full of fish out to the pond and feeding them, but the scientists are trying to make trained dolphins to do like shows and flips to catch their own food and live in the wild. But she's feeding them, and it's making the plan not work, and then there's this path that she's taking, but one day one night she was going through the woods, and one fish fell out of the wagon. So then the next day the three cousins found a secret path that she was taking, so they went to the pond, or close to the pond in it. Then when they came back, one of the three cousins slipped on the fish that fell out, and sprained his ankle, so he couldn't swim with the dolphins, and they're trying to find out where the fish was from and what the tire tracks were from, and who was feeding the fish. So the dolphins' name are Skip and Bubba. Skip is the really active one, and Bubba's the really cuddly one. So one day one of the cousins went out to feed the fish that he slipped on to Bubba, and after he ate the fish, there was something shiny tangling in the seaweed. So Bubba brought it up to the dock, and it was a watch that belonged to the lady that was that was feeding the fish, and that's all.
How long did it take you to write the book?
About 66 days.
When did you become interested in writing?
When I was about 13 years old, 12.
Is the story, are some of the characters in the story characters that people that you know, or do you just make them up?
They're my 3 cousins.
Okay. What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Nate the Great, story, detective stories, and other spy stories.
Okay. When did you become... Wait. That's all the time we have on Meet the Author.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome here to Meet the Author. Today our guest is Maria Herm. Maria, tell me, what is your title?
Kevin Corbett Eats Flies.
Tell me a little about your story.
Well, there's this boy and his father who move a lot because his mother died when he was 2. So every time they move, it only makes his father feel happy. So when he goes to school, he meets this new girl, Bailey, and we become real good friends. And so Bailey tries to help Kevin help not make his father move anymore because he doesn't like moving a lot. So he tries to get his teacher to go out with his dad. And so when they plan it out, they make up like a poem to the teacher, and when they give it to her, he's like, okay, I'll be there at 7 o'clock. And so when she gets there, they're really quiet, and when they had to like cook all the food, then they're having turkey dinner. So when they get the food, before they serve it, all they hear is laughing and laughing and laughing. So when they go in, they don't know what they're talking about. So then when they serve the food, all they ate everything except the turkey. So then they go, how come you didn't eat the turkey? And they say, because it was too cold. And then they heat it up some more, and then they eat like half of it. And then they have the dessert. And after the dessert, he stays and they don't move anymore because he found someone he likes, but they're not going to get married.
Who are the characters?
Ms. Holt, the teacher, his father, Kevin, and Bailey.
Are the characters based on people you know?
No.
What is the main idea?
Well, when they try to get Kevin's father to not move anymore, so he tries to find someone for his dad.
How long did it take to write this book?
7 months.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
The Mary Kate and Ashley books.
That's all the time we have today, folks. Bye. Hello and
welcome to Meet the Author, and we're here with Kevin David. So Kevin, what's the title of your book?
Tommy's New Playmate.
Can you tell us a little about this book?
Well, Tommy, his mom first has a baby shower, and there's like these two girls, and when they were on their last words in the song, they say it too loud that the baby inside her stomach got upset and started kicking, so she had to go to the hospital.
What inspired you to write this book? How long did it take you to write this book?
About 3 months.
Bye, that's all the time we have for today. Bye.